The Empty Box. The Empty Box, a story on honesty and integrity. In a peaceful kingdom surrounded by green valleys and clear rivers, there lived a wise and noble king named Arjun. He was known for ruling with fairness and compassion. His people loved him deeply, for he treated everyone with kindness and justice. But as years passed, the king grew old and weary. He had no children of his own, and this worried him greatly. He wanted someone trustworthy to rule the kingdom after him, someone with honesty, courage, and a good heart. One bright morning, King Arjun made an announcement that surprised everyone. Messengers ran across the villages, shouting, "The king will choose the next ruler, not from the royal family, but from among the children of the kingdom." Every child between the ages of 7 and 15 was invited to the royal palace. The kingdom buzzed with excitement. Parents dressed their children in their best clothes, hoping their child might be chosen by the king. Among these children was a humble boy named Rohan. He lived in a small house at the edge of the village with his widowed mother. They were poor but content. Rohan was known for his honesty. He never lied, even when it could have saved him from punishment. He loved learning and always helped his mother with daily chores. When Rohan heard the news, his eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Mother," he said, "I want to go to the palace too. I don't know if I will ever be chosen, but I want to try." His mother smiled warmly and said, "Go, my child, do your best, but remember, always stay honest and kind." The next day, hundreds of children gathered in the palace courtyard. The king stepped out with a gentle smile, holding a basket full of small cloth pouches. He addressed the children in his deep, kind voice. "My dear children, I am growing old and have no heir to my throne. I have decided that one of you will be the next ruler of this kingdom. I will give each of you a seed, plant it, take care of it, and come back after 6 months with the plant that grows from it. The one who brings me the most beautiful and healthy plant will become the next king or queen." The crowd cheered, and each child received a seed wrapped in a small pouch. Rohan held his seed carefully, as if it were a treasure. He thanked the king and went home excited. The test begins. Once home, Rohan and his mother filled a pot with fresh soil. They planted the seed together and placed it near the window where sunlight fell gently. Every morning, Rohan watered it with care and whispered, "Grow strong, little seed." Days passed, then weeks. All the other children in the village started talking about their growing plants. Some said theirs had turned into beautiful flowers, others claimed tall green shoots were rising from their pots. But in Rohan's pot, nothing grew. He was puzzled. He changed the soil, tried placing the pot in a sunnier spot, and even asked a local gardener for advice. Still no sprout appeared. At night, he felt sad and whispered to his mother, "Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe my seed is dead." His mother held his head and said gently, "My dear, you have done everything right. You cared for it with honesty and love. That's all what matters. Never replace it. Stay true to what you were given." Rohan nodded and continued watering the empty soil every day, even when his heart sank a little deeper each time. The day of return. 6 months later, the king invited everyone back to the palace. The courtyard was filled with color. Children carried pots of blooming flowers, bright green leaves, and sweet fragrances. Everyone proudly displayed their plants. Rohan stood quietly at the end of the line, holding his pot that had nothing but soil. His face was pale with embarrassment, and his hands trembled. Some children whispered and giggled. Look at him, he couldn't even grow a single plant. But Rohan still walked forward with courage. When it was his turn, he bowed before the king and said softly, "Your Majesty, I tried my best. I watered the seed every day, gave it sunlight, and took care of it with all my heart. But it never grew. I'm sorry. The crowd burst into laughter. The king raised his hand, signaling for silence. He looked carefully at all the pots filled with flowers, then at Rohan's empty one. After a long pause, the king smiled and said, everyone else may go home today. I have found the next ruler of my kingdom. The crowd gasped. He pointed at Rohan. This boy, the one with the empty pot, will be my successor. Everyone was shocked. The children looked at each other in disbelief. Even Rohan couldn't believe what he had heard. But, Your Majesty, he stammered, I didn't grow anything. The king walked up to Rohan, placed a hand on his shoulder, and said with pride, my child, 6 months ago I gave everyone here a seed that had been boiled. It was impossible for any of them to grow. Yet every one of them replaced it with another seed, except you. You were honest, even when you knew that truth would make you look like a failure. That is the quality of a true leader. Tears rolled down Rohan's cheeks as the crowd fell silent. The king continued, a kingdom can survive without wealth or beauty, but not without honesty. Rohan has shown the courage to stand by truth, and that courage is what this land needs. He took off his golden ring and placed it on Rohan's finger. From this day forward, the king declared Rohan shall be known as the Prince of Truth. Cheers erupted in the courtyard. The people bowed to Rohan, and his mother cried tears of joy. Laughter that once mocked him turned into applause filled with respect. Moral of the story: true greatness lies not in winning every challenge, but in staying honest when no one else dares to. Rohan didn't grow a plant, but he grew something far more precious: character. Honesty, even when it brings pain or loss, is the foundation of real success. In a world full of people chasing results, be the one who values truth, because sooner or later the world always recognizes the power of a pure heart.